Hey guys.
Hello!
So this week we don't have any electronic stuff to deal with because we've been very busy making lots of jigs for the table saw. So we're getting ready to go into production on some wooden cases.
Yep.
And the joinery that we were using on previous iterations just wasn't up to the quality that we wanted. So we wanted to change things over to all the wood is getting cut on jigs that are the same cut every single time, and we wanted to change the joinery to box joints. So basically this is the first test here, and basic idea is that you're going to put in your offset of one width, take that out, then I'll cut this corner out of this, and then I'll put that over the top of the peg and then move along the board. And on the other one, the other part of the joint, I'll start it against there so it's offset by one, right? And then they should fit together like
fingers.
That. So let's...
And just to give you guys a broad stroke of how this was done, so this is a piece of melamine board from an old bookcase shelf that wasn't wanted. So we had that, measured that to the width of the table saw, and then added this back brace, which is square, right? Square to this piece of melamine. This melamine piece, by the way, was a single board. And then, oh, I guess before that, even that, we put these runners, which like run along the slots here and to help guide the jig. Yep, and keep it in place. So put those down, glued the board on top. Brad nailed them to the melamine board, then glued this, then Brad nailed that, and then ran this hole, right? And this became our reference. This hole here became our reference for this back piece here, which is also square to the board, or to the melamine.
To the table and to the blade.
And then to that, that's when we had this piece of wood here, and if you look here to where this jig or this box joint,
I was calling it a peg.
Peg.
Something.
Okay. So we actually did a hole.
Yeah, I routed, well, dadoed
A hole into it, then stuck the
rod
slides into
right
it.
In there.
Yep. And you guys will see how it works essentially, but it was actually pretty easy to make.
We just did it in like, I don't know, 2 hours?
If that, yeah. And half of it's just figuring out how to design it so that it works exactly, but now you know. Now you can do it.
Okay, we're gonna test this sucker, or we're gonna talk about it?
We're gonna talk about testing.
Alright, I'm going.
Okay. Bam. What do you think?
First test, I'd say it's probably not bad at all. Work on that tear out problem.
Oh.
That's what this is supposed to stop.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's doing it on some and not the others, right? Or all of it?
It's doing it pretty consistently. That's nothing that can't be fixed, though.
Mm-hmm.
And just so we're all clear, these are very difficult to do until you have something like this. These are, you don't want to try to do these yourself by hand or whatever, unless you're like into that kind of masochism. Yeah, a few little more adjustments and
Bam! Box joint jig.
this side. That's what it'll actually mostly look like. I wonder why these didn't go quite as deep.
Mm-hmm. Maybe because you were just going fast and you didn't like put them down enough, you know?
But these look like they went to the correct depth. So if I were to run this one through again, it would probably bring it to the correct depth. Let's try it.
Okay. For science! Better? Yeah.
It is more better.
More better?
Mm-hmm. Way more better. Way more better.
Way more betterist?
No, that's too much. Let's not be silly.
Yeah, dog. That looks good. So it's just a matter of keeping it down, of course, and then flat to the back. Yeah?
Yeah, and if we can solve the tear out, we're absolutely where we need to be.
Awesome.
As far as dimensions are, it looks perfect. Like once you get glue into that.
Mm-hmm. Let me get a close-up here. Okay, so here's the tear out that Whisker's talking about. Just the little bits there. That's pretty spot on.
And that shouldn't be happening because back here it's supported behind, so it shouldn't be tearing out. I may just have to cut slower or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
But I've done everything that I can physically do, like in place here, to stop that from happening, except maybe clamping it lower so it doesn't chatter against the pushing fence.
So we're just going to show you the tear out issue. So obviously these bits have tear out problems. But on the last cuts, Whisker went particularly slow, and you notice there is very little tear out. So for science, we, I believe, are going to go super slow. Yeah?
Let's do it.
Okay. What do you think? Yeah, that worked?
That worked.
Yeah, science.
I mean, there's stuff there, but it's not gone. It's like stuff that just gets sanded away. It's not broken.
It's like little fibers.
Yeah.
That's just because poplar is poplar. Okay,
Nice.
let me get a close-up of that. There you go. No tear outs. You just have to go a little slow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, I'm gonna cut the other side of this joint so we can see if I want the tear out to be inside. I really can't. One is always on the inside, one is always on the outside.
Careful. Okay, this. Okay, how's it look? Pretty good?
Tiny bit on one of them, but the rest of them are all good.
Cool. And so just a heads up for you guys who may be wondering, this is a Harbor Freight table saw. And the blade itself is Diablo stacked dado blade. And the smallest configuration seems to be the 1/4 inch configuration.
Which is about all this table saw would handle anyway.
Right, which is pretty much what we want. A key stacked dado blade set. Yeah. And so there are 2 outside blades, and that's what we end up using. And that looks awesome. High five. Yeah. So it worked.
Absolutely.
Cool.
I've been wanting to build one of these for ages, but I never had a good enough reason to.
Yeah.
The top and bottom line up perfectly.
Nice.
Yeah. That is going to make our joint so much stronger on the boxes that we need to make.
Yeah. Much better than rabbit.
Yeah. There's so much more glue surface. So we'll glue, when we actually do this, is just a test, but when we do it for real, we'll glue them, and then we'll sand the corner down a bit so that it rounds over that edge.
Okay.
Yeah, should look pretty good, and it takes care of the end grain.
Alright.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
That's it for this week, guys. I mean, this is all we've been doing all week. I mean, if you look over here, you can see we've got, this one is for cross-cutting to a particular length.
That's another particular length.
This one's
that's a dado.
For running a dado.
Yep.
Rip side dado. This one's for doing
particular size.
Rip cut down to 1 inch. For whatever.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
1 3/4.
And over here, these are cross cuts for particular lengths.
Mm-hmm.
And we still have one to make yet, and that's the miter sled that's going to cut to a particular angle. And if you've paid very close attention in this video, you can see the case in the background of a couple of the shots. So for those of you who are, you know...
sleuths.
Yeah. All right, that's it for us. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
Bye.
We post videos all the time, so don't forget to subscribe. And follow us on Twitter at TYMKRS.